Dear student, welcome back to our NIVS home school. Hope you are doing well at home. This is Shiuly Saha, assistant teacher of English, National Ideal English Home School, morning shift. Dear student, today I am going to take your BGS class for the student of class 7. Today I will discuss chapter 1, lesson 1 and 2. So let's get started our class. In previous class we have already discussed lesson 1 from chapter 1. Today lesson 2 we will start with lesson 2, United Front. Okay, today we will discuss this lesson 1, 2 and 3 briefly. So let's start lesson 2, United Front. In this lesson we will know about the United Front, some information we will get from this lesson. Okay, so let's start. Muslim League, the ruling party, turned into a symbol of conspiracy and repression. Student, we know that the ruling party on that time was Muslim League, and Muslim League turned into a symbol of conspiracy and repression. That means torture. Major political parties and their leaders wanted to defeat Muslim League in the election and thus establish rights of the Bengalis. So, for their repression, major political parties on that time of the then East Pakistan wanted to defeat Muslim League in the election, and they wanted to establish the rights of the Bengalis. That's why they formed an alliance ahead of the election of East Bengal Provincial Assembly in 1954. This alliance is known as the United Front. Alliance, that means association. This association is known as the United Front. So, student, some of the political parties on that time of the then East Pakistan together, joined together, and they formed a political party. Their alliance, it is called the United Front. These political parties were, 4 political parties were joined. They were the Awami Muslim League, Kishok Shromik Party, Nizam Islami and Ganatantric Party joined the United Front during this election. So, they were Awami Muslim League, Awami Muslim League, Kishok Shromik Party, Nizam Islami and Ganatantric Party. These 4 parties joined together in the United Front. Now, formation of the United Front and 21-point manifesto. Now, we will know about the United Front and 21-point manifesto. The election of 1954 was not the National Assembly election of the 2 parties of Pakistan. It was only provincial election of East Bengal. So, the election of 1954 was not the National Assembly. It was the provincial, that means regional election of East Bengal, only for East Bengal. This election is a milestone in the history of our struggle against the oppression of the West Pakistani rulers. More specifically, it wanted to put up resistance, that means made resistance against the Muslim League sections to undermine meaning reduce Bangla nation, Bangla language and culture. 16 other parties including the ruling Muslim League contested the election, but the main contest took place between United Front and Muslim League. So, the main competition were between 2 parties. Who are they? One party was United Front and another is ruling party Muslim League. The United Front's election symbol was boat. So, what is the symbol of United Front? It was boat. The United Front's election symbol was boat. The front was led by 3 veteran leaders, that means experienced leaders, Shere Bangla Eke Fazlul Haq, Maulana Abdul Hamid Khan Bhashani and Hossein Mohammad Sohrawardi. And last one, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman took the spotlight among the youth with his growing popularity. So, we know among the 4 leaders, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was the youngest of all of them. Now, the United Front announced their 21 points in the manifesto to the public. So, United Front on that time placed their 21 points in the manifesto, that means their announcement to the public, and their first demands was the recognition of Bangla as one of the state languages of Pakistan, then cancellation of zamindar system, nationalization of jute industry, introduction of cooperative farming, that means cooperative based agricultural system, and compulsory free primary education for implementation. It also included cancellation of all unjust laws violated human rights, constructed of Shohid Minar for the language martyrs, declaration of 21st February as a public holiday, and autonomy to East Bengal. The establishment of Bangla Academy for the development of Bangla language and literature was also point in it. So here are described some important points that the Muslim League, the United Front on that time announced, placed before the people in 1954. So these demands are very important. Now, result of the election. So what was the result of the election in 1954? The Muslims and the other religious followers had separate seats allotted in 1954 election, and we know the Muslims and other religious had separate seats allotted, had separate allotment for their seats, and voting was also held separately. The United Front achieved a landslide victory with 236 seats out of 309 in this election. So how many seats were obtained by the United Front? It was there were 236 seats, and with only 9 seats the Muslim League had a disaster. So how many seats were obtained by the Muslim League, the ruling party? It was only 9 seats, and it had a great disaster. Now, newspaper and magazines at home and abroad termed this victory of United Front a ballot revolution. So, newspaper and magazine at home and abroad termed this victory of United Front a ballot revolution. So, what is called? It is a ballot revolution. Now, reasons behind the defeat of Muslim League and victory of United Front. There are some reasons behind the defeat of Muslim League and victory of United Front. Now, we will discuss this in the following lines. The 21-point program is also a reason for the success. The Muslim League who placed 21-point program before the people in 1954, it was a reason for their success. The United Front presented a unique mixture of old and young leaders and workers. And United Front presented a unique mixture of old and young leaders and workers. That means there were many young leaders and workers. On the contrary, the manifesto of Muslim League was obscure and full of loose ends. On the contrary, the manifesto, on that time Muslim League declared, that was full of obscure and lack of transparency. The party leaders being alienated from the people could not stand a chance, and there are misrule, price hike, oppression, factionalism, corruption, disparity between the two parts of Pakistan can be termed as some of the reasons for the crushing defeat of Muslim League. So, their defeat was possible because of their misrule, price hike, oppression, factionalism, corruption, disparity between the two parts of Pakistan. Now, achievements of Bengalis. What were the achievements of Bengalis? Now, using special powers, they dissolved the United Front government within 2 months. So, within 2 months, they dissolved the United Front government, using their special powers. A civil government was formed under the new constitution, However, President Iskandar Mirza declared martial law on 7 October 1958 on the critics of deterioration of law and order situation in the country. So, who declared martial law at first? We know President Iskandar Mirza declared martial law 7 October 1958. When was the martial law declared? 7 October 1958. All activities of political parties were banned from 1958 to 1962. So, how many point was all political activities prohibited on that time? It prohibited 19. All political activities were prohibited from 1958 to 1962. The students of East Bengal took to the streets. The movement grew stronger with the declaration of national education policy. This education is known as Sharif Commission. So, they published a education policy, and that name was Sharif Commission. Okay, the commission recommended Urdu as the sole medium of education in both parts of Pakistan. Okay, and they cancelled the free education and the listening opportunity to higher education. Okay, there was massive protest from the students on this part. The government was ultimately forced to cancel the Sharif Commission's education policy because of the students' movement. They cancelled this Sharif Commission because it was injustice for the East Pakistan on that time. Okay, and lesson 3, the 6-point movement. We know the 6-point movement was the key point of the independence of Bangladesh. Okay, it is called the Charter of Bengalis Emancipation. Okay, now let's start on 5 February 1966, a conference on the opposition parties was held in Lahore. So, where was the 6-point movement declared? In Lahore. And when was it declared? On 5 February 1966. And who declared? Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman proposed the 6-point program there to regain all kinds of rights for the Bengalis of East Pakistan. Mainly, these 6 points were the demand for autonomy of the province. That means the power of self-government of the province. That means of our region, of our East Pakistan. Okay. Now, who declared? Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman proposed the 6-point program there. Okay. Now, 6-point demand. Number 1, a new constitution has to be written according to the spirit of historical Lahore Declaration of 1940. So, a new constitution has to be written and according to the spirit of historical Lahore Declaration of 1940. The country should be based on parliamentary form of government, and they wanted parliamentary form of government. The parliament and legislatures should be formed with adult franchise. Franchise, that means right for votes. Okay. The legislature should have the sovereignty, that means supreme power. The legislatures should have the supreme power. Okay. Number 2, the federal government, that means central government, will have defense and foreign affairs of the country. Okay. They should have. They said that they will have defense and foreign affairs of the country, and all the rest affairs will be dealt by the state government. That means the state governments wanted to deal with all the rest affairs without the defense and foreign affairs. Number 3, 2 separate but freely convertible currencies for 2 wings have to be introduced. The people of East Pakistan wanted to separate but freely convertible currencies for 2 wings of Pakistan. The responsibility of currency should be there in the hands of federal government. So the responsibility of currency should be there in the hands of central government. There should be 2 independent central banks for 2 wings, and they also wanted to separate central banks for 2 wings. And number 4, the power of taxation and revenue collection should be vested on state governments. The federal government would get a fixed share of the collected revenue by the state government. And the people of East Pakistan also wanted the power of taxation and revenue collection. Okay, and they wanted to give a fixed share of the collected revenue to the federal government. Number 5, there has to be 2 separate accounts for the foreign exchange earnings of the 2 wings. Each state government should have full rights over the earned foreign exchange and should contribute to the federal government equally or in a ratio to be fixed. Number 6, East Pakistan should have a separate paramilitary force. So the people of East Pakistan wanted a separate military force for all East Pakistan. Now, reaction to 6-point demand. General Ayub Khan, the martial law administrator, okay, got afraid of the 6-point demand. We know who was Ayub Khan. Ayub Khan was a military dictator, and he got afraid of the 6-point demand. That's why he began conspiracy against East Pakistan. Okay, he realized that such autonomy for East Pakistan would end all their exploitations. Many cases were filed against Bangabandhu, various districts of the province. Leaders and workers of the Awami League were arrested. But the movement could not be silent because of the firm leadership of Bangabandhu and his widespread popularity. So the 6-point demand, it paved the way for the independence of Bangladesh. Okay, the people of East Pakistan profoundly influenced by these 6-point demands. So that's all for today's trend. Hope you have understood our today's topic. Here I have given 3 short questions. Okay, after reading this chapter very attentively, you will able to answer these 3 short questions. Okay, number 1, on what date was martial law declared first in Pakistan? We know President Iskandar Mirza declared martial law on 7 October 1958 on the critics of deterioration of law and order situation in the country. So on what date was martial law declared first in Pakistan? On 7 October 1958. Number 2, how many points were presented by the United Front in the election of 1954? We know it was 21 points manifesto. Okay, 21 point manifesto. Okay, number 3, who declared the 6-point demand? We know the father of the nation, the Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, declared the 6-point demand. So after reading this chapter, you have to identify these questions, answers, and write down on your homework copy. And your submission date will be 29 January 2022. Okay. That's all, students. Thank you all of you. Thank you.